Have you ever gotten a full night's sleep, but you wake up and you still feel just completely exhausted? Well, what if I told you there's a state beyond ordinary rest? A powerful kind of conscious sleep that can do more for you in 30 minutes than hours of just tossing and turning. It's called Yoga Nidra, and it's not really about stretching. It's about hacking your own consciousness to unlock a level of rest you probably never even thought was possible.
So get this, the founder of modern Yoga Nidra made this really bold claim. He said the real pandemic of our time isn't what we see in the headlines, it's tension. And we're not just talking about the feeling of being stressed after a long day. Nope. This is a deep-seated tension that just builds and builds in our muscles, our emotions, and our minds. You know, from work pressure, emotional stress, or even just the constant noise of modern life, this tension accumulates, and a lot of the time we don't even realize it's happening.
And the cost of all that hidden tension? It's staggering. It actually shows up in our bodies as all these different psychosomatic illnesses. I mean, modern medicine is incredible at treating symptoms, right? But it often struggles to get to the root cause of these stress-related problems because they start deep inside the mind.
So, if the problem is a kind of tension that regular rest just can't seem to touch, what's the solution? Well, it turns out there's a very specific technique designed to systematically dissolve these deep layers of tension, one by one.
And that is Yoga Nidra, which literally translates to yogic sleep. But don't let that name fool you. The key difference here is that you're not actually unconscious. It's this incredible state where your body is completely asleep, but your mind stays awake and aware, just following a guided set of instructions.
And this is where you see the real difference. Think about it. In ordinary sleep, your awareness is just gone. Your consciousness is dormant, which only gives you a surface-level rest. But in Yoga Nidra, your consciousness is still active. Your ego is there, but it takes a back seat, becoming this quiet witness. And that state is what allows you to access and release those deep-rooted tensions that a normal night's sleep just can't get to.
So how on earth does this work? I mean, this isn't just about lying down and wishing yourself into a relaxed state. Yoga Nidra is actually a precise scientific process that uses your brain's own wiring to get you into this profound state of relaxation.
The practice kicks off with something called a rotation of consciousness. Basically, it's a guided tour of awareness through your body. An instructor will name different body parts in a very specific order: right hand thumb, second finger, third finger, and so on. Now, it might seem totally random, but the path it takes is anything but.
So why that exact sequence? It's because that guided tour is directly tracing a neural map in your brain, this little guy called the motor homunculus. As your awareness flows along the specific path, it systematically switches off every nerve connection. It's like you're methodically flipping the circuit breakers in your brain, leading to this incredibly deep physical relaxation.
Now for the second powerful tool in this practice, and this one is a real game changer, it's called the sankalpa. It's a short, positive resolve, an intention that you state to yourself at the beginning and end of the practice. It's not a wish, it's more like a command you give to your subconscious, like planting a seed of change that you want to grow in your life.
And the real secret here is when you plant that seed. In the super relaxed state of Yoga Nidra, your conscious, critical mind is quiet, and your subconscious is wide open and incredibly receptive. So by planting your sankalpa there, you're putting it in the most fertile soil imaginable. You're literally gathering all the power of your mind to make it happen.
Okay, this is where things get really wild. The benefits of this practice go way beyond just feeling calm. We're talking about unlocking abilities of the mind that honestly sound like they're straight out of science fiction.
You know that dream we've all had, right? The one where you could learn a new language or some new skill just by listening to a recording while you're asleep? It's an idea called hypnopedia, but does it actually work?
Well, according to the founder of this system, the answer is a huge yes. In a famous experiment, he took a young boy who'd never been to school, and while the boy was in this yogic sleep state, the teacher would just recite texts to him. In only 2 years, the boy could speak 11 languages and recite entire holy books from memory. All of his learning happened while his mind was in this super receptive state. Incredible, right?
And what about creativity? Where do those sudden flashes of insight, those aha moments that solve impossible problems, where do they actually come from?
Well, history is filled with examples of geniuses who tapped into this exact state, that place between waking and sleeping, to get their greatest breakthroughs. Kekule dreaming of a snake biting its own tail and realizing the structure of benzene. Niels Bohr literally seeing the model of an atom. Even Einstein's famous thought experiments. This in-between, hypnagogic state,
It's like a fountain of intuition and creative discovery.
And it's not just for scientists. Get this. Napoleon's officers reported that at the very height of a battle, he would go to his tent for exactly 20 minutes. He'd enter this state and come out completely refreshed, energized, and inspired with the exact strategy he needed to win. I mean, just imagine that. The ability to get total restoration and strategic clarity in 20 minutes under the most extreme pressure you can think of.
Okay, so these historical examples are amazing, but what does it all mean for you? Because this isn't some secret reserved for geniuses and emperors. It's a tool that lets you access the deepest parts of your own mind.
So, what does this path actually look like? Well, it's pretty much a three-step process. First, you dive deep, you access those subconscious realms. From there, step 2, you release and relax, purging those deep-rooted mental tensions and something called samskaras, which are basically the mental grooves or habits that hold you back. And finally, using tools like the Sankalpa, you remold your mind, reshaping your personality and your life's direction from the inside out.
So the ultimate takeaway here is this. Yoga Nidra is not just a nap. It's not even just about relaxation. It's a powerful, precise technique for reaching into the huge storehouse of your own mind to find the solutions, the creativity, and the untapped potential that is already there, just waiting for you to discover it. And that really leaves us with one final thought. We spend so much of our lives looking for answers outside of ourselves. But what if the solutions to our biggest problems, our greatest creative ideas, and our deepest sense of peace are already inside our own minds? The only question left is, are we ready to get quiet enough to finally listen?